everyone, and welcome back to Friends to the End podcast. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. It genuinely means the world to me. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy you've decided to spend some time with me. Now, this episode is a little different from my usual horror content. As much as I love talking about slashers, haunted houses, zombies, and everything that goes bump in the night, once a month I want this podcast to be a safe space where we talk about something that's just as important, our mental health. So today, I just want us to have a little chat. Now, just before we begin, I just want to add a little disclaimer that this episode reflects just some of my personal thoughts and isn't a substitute for professional mental health. I am in no way a medical professional. If you feel like you're in immediate danger or you feel like you may have thoughts on harming yourself or anybody close to you feels that way, you should contact your local emergency services or a trusted crisis service right away. Now that's done, let's get into it. So, let's have a chat. There's no judgment, there's no pretending that everything is perfect, just two people having an honest conversation. Because if there's one thing that I've learned, it's that everyone is fighting battles that other people know nothing about. I think social media has made it so easy to believe that everyone else has everything figured out. You know, when you doom scrolling through your phone and you see people smiling, you see them travelling, achieving goals and getting promotions and finding love. And meanwhile, you're sitting there wondering why you're struggling just to get through the day. But here's the thing. Now you're only seeing someone's highlight reel. You're not seeing the sleepless nights that they have, the anxiety, the tears, the self-doubt, the panic attacks, the moments where they questioned whether they were good enough. We compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's finished movie, and honestly, that's never going to be fair. And one of the reasons why I love horror so much is because horror has never pretended that life is perfect. It shows us fear, loss, trauma, survival, and people often ask horror fans why we watch scary films to relax. And honestly, sometimes it's because the monsters on the screen feel easier to face than the ones in our own heads. Horror reminds us that fear doesn't last forever. The credits always roll and the sun eventually comes up. And even after the darkest night, there's another day waiting. And I think that's something really comforting about that. I also want to say something that I think a lot of people need to hear. You know, you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to be productive every single day. You don't have to constantly prove your worth. And it's okay to have days where surviving is enough. If all you managed to do today was get out of bed, honestly, I am so proud of you. If you've managed to eat something, I'm proud of you. If you listen to this while trying to distract yourself from your own thoughts, I'm really, really glad that you're here. If you're someone who struggles with anxiety, depression, loneliness, or just feeling overwhelmed, please know that you're not broken. You're human. You know, life can be messy. And sometimes we carry things for far longer than we should because we're scared people won't understand. But you'd be surprised, actually, how many people have felt exactly the same way. And talking doesn't make you weak. If anything, it makes you rather brave. In fact, very, very brave. And I know reaching out can feel terrifying. And sometimes you convince yourself that you're a burden, that people don't really care. But those thoughts are lying to you. The people who love you would much rather sit with you through your darkest days than never get the chance to help at all. And you don't have to carry everything by yourself. Something that helps me, and maybe it'll help you too, is finding little moments of peace, whether it be watching a favourite film, listening to music, going for a walk, gaming, reading, spending time with family. laughing at something completely ridiculous. Those little moments might seem insignificant, but they can actually remind us that joy still exists even when life feels heavy. I think that one of the biggest misconceptions about mental health is that you have to be at breaking point before you deserve help. And the truth is that you don't, because mental health exists on a spectrum where some days we feel great and other days we struggle. And life throws challenges at us and it's completely normal to feel overwhelmed or anxious, sad or exhausted. But the important thing is recognising when we need support and remembering that asking for help is never a weakness. Another thing I've always loved about horror is that it gives us a safe space to explore fear. It's on the surface, horror is about ghosts or killers, monsters or supernatural, but underneath it all, it's often about the different types of grief and trauma and loneliness, guilt, anxiety and survival. And that's probably why so many horror fans also find horror comforting. When life feels chaotic, watching fictional fear can sometimes make real life worries feel a little easier to process. And it's strange to some people, but horror has always created a community where many of us feel understood. One thing I'd encourage everyone listening to do is check in with the people around you. Just a simple text saying, "How are you really doing?" could mean more than you will probably ever know. And equally, if you're struggling yourself, don't feel like you're burdening people by reaching out. The people who care about you would rather listen than lose you. But before I wrap up today's little short episode, I want to leave you with this, that no matter what you're facing right now, you matter. Your story matters. The world is better with you in it. And even if your brain is telling you otherwise, just be patient with yourself. Healing isn't a straight line. Some days you'll feel amazing and some days you'll feel like you've gone backwards, but that's okay. You keep going one step at a time. Thank you for spending this time with me. If today's episode has helped you in any way, or if you know someone who might need to hear these words, please consider sharing it with them. And remember, even horror movies teach us that no darkness lasts forever. Eventually, someone turns on the light. Until next time, look after yourselves, be kind to one another, and remember, it's okay not to be okay. Bye, everyone.